I have been privileged to appear on media houses for interviews. And one of the questions they would always ask is, Kenneth, why did you write this? What really inspired me, if you can? Without wasting much time, I would narrate to them one of the experiences I had while I was coming back from work. I needed to see a friend at Ikeja, and so I stopped by at Ikeja, but my friend was not in his office. So from Ikeja, I boarded another bus going to Bega. While we were going to Bega, a journey that probably would have taken us less than 15 minutes or 15 minutes, we were immersed in this drastic hold-up. And everybody in the bus was complaining. Everybody in the bus was tired. And so, where I was seated, because I sat at the extreme, I had my head leaned on a supporting iron there. I was not saying anything because I was tired myself. But a boy conductor of about 14 years old made me speak. He was saying a lot of things in Yoruba language. The next thing he said that followed up all he's been saying was, Nigeria don't die. From the corner I was sitting, I raised my head. I galvanized the little strength I had in me, and I said to him, shut up. The moment I told him shut up, he looked at me as though I just emanated from another planet, probably Venus. And he said, Bros, why did you say I should shut up? And I said, why would you say Nigeria is dead? The boy looked at me and said, Nigeria never died. And he had this unmitigated goal to begin to state to me his reasons. He said, no good roads, Nigeria don't die. He said, we do not have good hospitals, Nigeria don't die. He said, we do not have good schools, Nigeria don't die. He said, we do not have even clean water, Nigeria don't die. The next thing he said was, not even jobs. Now, on the area of jobs, 2 months ago, March to be very precise, a branch of the federal government published or brought out 5,000 vacancies which 750,000 Nigerians applied. And each applicant paid 1,000 naira to write a test. 1,000 naira times 1,000 naira is 1 million. 1,000 naira times 750,000 is 750 million. It simply means that branch of the government collected from its citizens 750 million to give them job in their country. And on top of that, about 21 Nigerians died via stampede while in the venue. My researcher told me, he said, Kenneth, those vacancies were mere formalities. That the people on top knew those they actually wanted in those positions. That they had to publish those vacancies so that political wants and pudists will not begin to run their mouth. And that was why they had to publish those vacancies. And now, when the boy said that, my reply to the boy was, well, these had not actually happened when he said it. I had to chip this in. When the boy said that, I said to him, I said, Oga, you are very correct. All you said now, you are very correct. So the next thing I asked him was, but do you believe in God? He said, well, who does not believe in God in Nigeria? I said, no, do you believe in God? He said, yes, he does. I said, okay, apart from God, your next God is your nation. The boy did not understand me, so I phrased it. I said, let us assume that there is no God, or let us, in the word of Friedrich Nietzsche, that God is dead in the 19th century. I said, let us assume that there is no God. I said, your God will be Nigeria. When I said that, he was mute. He couldn't speak. And whenever I speak to people, I tell them, I said, one of the characters of God is that God will never make a mistake. He will never make a mistake. It is impossible for him to make a mistake. And I said, God will have created you, embellished you with all of your gifts, talent, pulchritude, beauty, adorn you with all of these things, and probably given you America as your country, or Germany as your country, or South Africa as your country. No, he did not do that. After creating you with all of these things, he decided to leave you in Nigeria. He has the power. He has seen the end from the beginning. He has the ubiquitous influence and panoptic power to say this is where you should be. And if God has put you in Nigeria, do you think he made a mistake leaving you in Nigeria? No. He did not make a mistake, and he will never make a mistake. Now, for you to have found yourself in Nigeria, it simply means you have responsibilities to fulfill. You have duties to perform. We understand that one of the great things that have been truncating our success in Nigeria is corruption. Corruption is prevalent in this society, that when you think anti-corruption, people will think you are crazy. People will think you do not belong to Nigeria. Now, corruption is a global phenomenon, no doubt about it. But the corruption that is besieging Africa and that is pillaging Nigerians, or Nigeria as a country, is mostly rolled down from the leaders we have, the leaders in the government, who have not actually used what we have to build infrastructures that will actually make the citizens live comfortable. Rather, they will siphon our money, embezzle it, go to other countries, have the best hotels built there, pay heavily, pay tax, heavy tax, why they will forget and neglect their country. And so, it is the truth that corruption resides in the government. So whoever stands before anybody to say corruption does not reside in the government, that person needs to be stoned to death. But my point is this: not just in the government alone, corruption exists everywhere. Even in the office that I work, corruption exists there. Corruption exists in the marketplaces. Corruption exists even in the motor parks. So corruption is not just coming from the government. It's something that exists everywhere in the society. It is like entrenched in our culture, entrenched so heavily that if a fellow from the bush says, well, I'm not going to do things like this because this is not the right way, they will say, well, you are not the most holy person. Forget, just do it. And so people do not see the possibility of ending corruption. Now, Corrupt Me If You Can is a book that interpolated a lot of ideas to fighting corruption. That it is possible for us to actually fight corruption and win it. How could we not fight something that is killing us? Something that is destroying the future of our children. Something that is killing what we believe in. And we are saying no, it is not possible for us to fight it. My dear friends, it is really, really possible for us to take corruption and bring it to naught, bring it to halt. But the question is this: for us to begin to make the fight of corruption realistic or a reality, it has to begin by me. It has to begin by you. It has to start by the force of an individual. What do you really think you can do to be part of the solution and not the problem? If there is a problem, there has to be solution. And are you part of the solution or do you contribute with a lot of complexities to the problem? That is the question we should ask ourselves in the fight against corruption. There are little things that you could do in your corner to actually help fight corruption. Do you do them? Or do you think, well, it does not really matter? My dear friend, we've been sold three things. And those three things we've been sold to, they are just like one thing. For instance, our political leaders or our leaders in the government, they've sold three things to us. And those three things are just one thing. One, you are not important in your society. Two, you are not relevant. Three, your voice cannot be heard. So all of these three things is simply saying you are not important. Now, we have generally bought these things. And so when you see somebody who is thinking out of the box from these things, you say, well, you don't know where you are. My dear friends, it is possible for you to rise. It is possible for me to rise and begin to do, no matter how little it is in your corner, those things you know can help build this country up. Begin to do them. I, in my little corner, will begin to do those things I know can help build this country up. I begin to do them. And before you know it, these little things, though we could call them little, they will come together and they will form a huge chunk of tree. And before you know it, the government will begin to listen to us. I will always tell people in my awareness program, I said, poverty, our leaders have understood poverty. They know that poverty is in our system. And so during election time, they will say, well, these masses, they've been bonded in poverty with chains. So let us begin to unchain their poverty with just giving them tokens. And they'll probably give you 5,000, 10,000 to actually vote for somebody that you do not really believe in. And for 4 years, you will mortgage your future again on the altar of 4,000 or 5,000 or even 100,000. What is your future or the future of your children or the future of Nigeria compared to 100,000 or even compared to 1 million? My dear friends, let us not sell ourselves. I tell people that Nigeria, we have prominent men. We do not have men of dignity. We should begin to look for men of dignity, not prominent men. We have men who are popular, but they are not dignitaries. They are not dignitaries. They are just popular. No value system is built in them. Those are men we have in the leadership. I am not saying that the leadership is altogether bad. No. I am saying that we have few people there who actually they are doing what they know is good for the society to grow. But like I'll always tell people, these individuals are few. We have majority on the side of, well, if Nigeria is getting bad, let us contribute to making it worse. I was traveling to Edo State. I needed to establish contact in 3 higher institutions: Auchi Polytechnic, Ambrose Ali University, and Uniben. And so while I was traveling, I was seated with a lawyer in the phone. I didn't know he was a lawyer. And so he sparked up this conversation. And he was actually speaking against corruption, coming from the angle of the religious, not the religious angle, them not doing enough in terms of fighting corruption. I was really buying his idea while he was speaking. I was buying his idea. It got to a point, he said something and I disagreed with him. And what did he say? He said, Kenneth, I am 46 years old. Nigeria will never be better. When he said that, I said, with all due respect, sir, I disagree with you. Why would you say Nigeria will never be better? Are you God? He said, no. And I asked him, I said, sir, are you married? He said, yes. Before I could ask him how many children he has, he said he's married with 4 kids. I said, okay, sir. I said, with all due respect, sir, whenever you make such statements, you cost the future of your children. You cost the future of your children. Because those children of yours, they are going to grow in this nation. And if you make such statements, you are saying, well, your future will not be bright. We have a lot of Nigerians who are tired of being Nigerian. Now, if you are tired of being in Nigeria, like I said from the beginning, I said God will never make a mistake creating you as a Nigerian. So if you are tired of being Nigeria, you should have hope. But if you fail for hope to embrace you, you can go and commit suicide. But don't do this. Leave your children behind. Because what I told the man, I said, I see myself as a split personality. One of my legs in the outgoing generation and one of my legs in the incoming generation. I believe that the outgoing generation, they are very obstinate about change. They don't want to change. But I said to them, and I said, this incoming generation or the oncoming generation that we believe strongly in change, that we are going to make change spring in our nation. And when I said that to the lawyer said, you are the first Nigerian I'm seeing speaking with so passion about Nigeria. I said, yes, I'm a Nigerian. If God wanted me to be an American, I would not be in Nigeria. So my dear friends, a lot of us will go to the embassy, different embassies, queuing up to run away from Nigeria. Now, I am not saying you should not travel. I'm not saying you should not travel out probably to seek or to go to school. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying when you see the number of people in different embassies just going away, trying to run away from their country, as though they would never, or rather the country would never have success, I say to myself, why is this so? Why is this actually happening? Now you could travel, acquire skills, education, but come back and build your nation. Your nation is where your future is. Nigeria is where your future is. I said this while I was discussing with a group of students in Unilag. I said to them, I said, if Nigeria and the United States signed a bilateral agreement for 5 years, I said, in the content of the agreement, all Americans are to move to Nigeria as citizens of Nigeria. And all Nigerians, including the Boko Haram, okay, let us eliminate the Boko Haram. I said, all Nigerians should move to America as citizens of America. I said, in 5 years, Americans will come to this nation, Nigeria. This economy that we have tagged as pastoralized, they will come and they will build this economy up in 5 years. And we will go there and we will destroy that economy. When I said that going to Okoko, one of the listeners there said, no, 5 years is too much. That they're going to come here and in 1 year, they will build our economy. And we will go there in 6 months and we will destroy that economy. When I said that at Unilag, the students said, do not insult us. I said, no, I am not insulting you. I am also a Nigerian. The difference is clear. The difference is simple. The difference is mindset. You are going to, or we Nigerians, we are going to go to the United States with our mindset. They are going to come to Nigeria with their mindset. And mindsets will begin to work. I said, what is mindset? Your habitual way of thinking. That's what mindset is. And I do not believe that God created the white in quotes. I don't believe really in the word white, but I'm just generally using the time that is generally known. I don't believe in that. Now, if someone now say God created the white and separately or differently and gives them a very higher platform that he gave to the black, I don't believe it. That will make God a partial God, and God is never partial. In my seminar, I tell people that something really went wrong along the way. The fault was not from God. The fault was from the black race, in quotes. And so, my dear friends, We need to have, or there should be, a great hysterectomy in the way we think, to abort this secular petri dish. There has to be that in the way we think. If you begin to see somebody who is seated next to you, not just from one local place or from one country or from one state you don't like, see the person first of all as a Nigerian. See him first of all as a Nigerian before you begin to say he's from a particular tribe. See the other person first of all as a Nigerian before you begin to say he's a Muslim or a Christian. My dear friends, you can begin to do something to push this fight against corruption. No matter where you find yourself, no matter where you see yourself, corruption can be fought and corruption can be won. We should never believe, we should never be deceived into believing that there is nothing we can do. We know that there are leaders there who we do not actually trust, but that will not make us give up on our nation that God has given to us. God gave us this nation just like He gave every leader this nation. Every leader who is occupying those positions now, He gave them this nation just as He gave us this nation. So we should not summarize this nation into an elect kind of thing. It is nation for the elite. No. It is nation for you and for me. If you see yourself as a common Nigerian, it's for you. If you see yourself as an average Nigerian, it's for you. If you see yourself as the topmost Nigerian, it's for you. That is what we should believe in. We should stop this shambolic idea that because you are not up there, you cannot do anything. You can really do something from the lower part you think you are. And that is what Corrupt Me If You Can is saying to us. Corrupt Me If You Can is saying you are not a mistake in your nation. And you can never be a mistake regardless what the society is selling. Regardless what they are saying to you. That, well, you need to do this to be right. Or you need to do this to be this. Tell them, well, my value system do not support this. My value system do not accept this. And so, my dear friends, Corrupt Me If You Can is a book that interpolated a whole lot of ideas, suggestions that we can do something little, no matter how little it is, for us to actually push our country forward. Personally, I do not believe that Nigeria will be great. I don't believe so. Rather, I believe that Nigeria is great, but sees her greatness from the shell of corruption. In 1988, there was a treaty by Kamas. In that treaty, Kamas says that religion is really an opium of the people. He said that philosophy have been trying to interpret the world instead of change it. Now, in a way, he was right, because some people see religion as drug, and they will see what they should do right before their eyes, and they will say, well, we can't do this now. Nigeria will be great. No, you say Nigeria is great, and if this is what I would have to do to keep it great, I should do it. My dear friend, I speak so passionately lately. I speak rather so passionately about Nigeria. Nigeria is your country. Nigeria is my country. If God wanted me in America, He would have created me in America. If God wanted me in South Africa, Qatar, Dubai, He would have created me and thrown me there as a citizen of this country. But God wanted me in Nigeria. Being in Nigeria, I have responsibility. I have duties to perform. Now, I say to people, if you wake up early morning, do you ever pray for your country? And the answer is, why would I pray for country that has not been supportive? And I said, how would you expect your country to be supportive when you do not pray for your country? If you believe in prayer, pray for your country. If you do not believe in prayer, whatever you believe in, just pray for your country. It is not about religion. It is not about where you come from. No. If you are a Muslim and you have the answer for change in Nigeria, come on board. If you are a Christian and you have the answer for change in Nigeria, come on board. If you are even an atheist, so far you have an answer for change in Nigeria, come on board. That is what Corrupt Me can promulgate. Let us stop this stabbing in the back. Let us stop mistreating our brothers, our sisters, who are not probably part of our state or part of where we come from. No, or probably they are not part of our religious beliefs. No, let us see them first of all as Nigeria, a nation that is created and so potentially blessed by God. I say to people, we have potentials to be greater than Americans, but we've been undermined. Our leaders, they've not actually used what we have to galvanize us into our greatness that is already capacited for us. And so, my dear friends, Corrupt Me If You Can is also a movement, and it supports equality. It supports goodliness or godliness in terms of the way you treat your fellow human beings. Do not treat them bad if you do not want to be treated bad. That is what Corrupt Me If You Can support. You can visit our website www.corruptmeifyoucan.com. Register to be a member. Be part of us. Let us fight corruption. We go everywhere, itinerantly, indoctrinating, teaching people that we can really overcome corruption. We can really fight corruption and win. If I begin to bring that little action together and make those actions speak. Because action really speaks louder than words. And so, that is what we are into. Corrupt Me If You Can is a book for you to have and read. Thank you very much. God bless Nigeria. My names are Kenneth Wisdom Amanma. Thank you.